Okay, there we go. Hi, Christiana.
Hello.
Am I pronouncing your name correctly?
You are. Yes. Good
Yes,
job.
Christiana. Thank you.
Yep, you got it.
Thank you. So we're going to do a reading today for you. It'll be just you and I, live time, going into your chart, and I will share with you astrologically through the lens of the cosmos, your potential, who you came in to be, right? Um, I always look at the light side, but also the shadow side, like some of the challenges, because, we're all human living this very human experience, and it can get hard down here on Earth, so also
Mhm.
like the really real stuff in the chart too. We'll talk about that as well. Sound good?
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Yeah, I
Good.
can't wait.
I'm so happy. Okay, so first off, let me make sure I have the correct info for you. So I
Okay.
have March 30th,
hmm
1983.
Yep.
At 2:24 p.m.
hmm
in Newton, is it Massachusetts?
It is. Yeah.
MA. Okay. Okay. All right. So I have the correct info. And when I first open up your chart, there are certain years of importance that really jump out at me that you've already lived through. So I'm going to pull three of those out. I'm going to let you know the years, the dates, and you just tell me if there was anything pivotal that was happening in your life during that time. And they're just, when I open up your birth chart, they're just loud years that jump out at me.
Okay.
So the first one, we're going back in time to 2005. 2005, you were 22 years
Mhm.
old. Do you remember anything pivotal from that time that felt important that you lived through?
Well, that's when I graduated college, and it
Ah,
was like right before I met my husband.
okay.
Yeah. And I guess the pivotal part to it could be like I was deciding between moving to Denver, Colorado,
hmm
or staying where I am right now. And ultimately, I decided to stay. And
hmm
had I left and moved, I never would have met my husband. So
Right.
that's kind of a big deal, I
Yeah,
feel.
that is a big deal. So graduating college and sort of like starting life in a sense, like
Yeah.
stepping out into the world.
Mhm.
Okay, two more dates. What about 2012? 2012 really jumped out at me loudly. You were 29 that year.
That was, I had just gotten pregnant. I also had a
Ah,
miscarriage that year.
okay.
So those are both, there's your light
Yeah,
and shadow.
absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Um, the pregnancy, did you also give birth that year or just became pregnant?
He was born in 2013, so just the
So you became
pregnancy.
pregnant. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. And then 2021, 2021, you were 37 years old. What was going on during that time?
Well, let's see. We moved.
hmm
So we moved to a new neighborhood.
Yep.
I'd have to really think back.
That's good. That's plenty.
Yeah.
A big move like that, sort of uprooting,
Yeah.
uprooting everything and landing in a different place and creating home,
Yeah.
right? So these particular years are when the planet Saturn was really loud in your chart. Saturn came to visit, and Saturn stays, for about a year or so, and he potentially becomes your house guest. And he brings with him, a lot of changes. There's opportunities for leveling up. There's opportunities for new chapters to start in life, but usually big pivotal life things happen when Saturn comes to visit. And what he's doing is he's checking in to see if you are doing your life's work, your life's promise, your life's purpose. I'm going to share with you what that is by looking at your Saturn placement. You came in with Saturn and Scorpio. So at the moment you took your first breath, Saturn was moving through the constellation of Scorpio. And, Saturn and Scorpio in the third house, that's all astrology gibberish. I'll tell you what it means. By the way, do you study astrology or anything? Are you familiar with it or not so much?
Definitely familiar, but I'm not an expert by any
Okay.
means like you. I just think it's fascinating.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Big,
Absolutely.
big believer.
Yes. Okay. So with Saturn and Scorpio, your life purpose is to go deep.
Mhm.
and to go deep into anything that goes below the surface, right? Scorpio is here not to do anything superficial, not to pretend, not to act. There's like a raw, authentic truth with this placement. And the more that you go into the depths of things,
Mhm.
the more you're living your purpose, so to say. You know, Saturn in Scorpio, there's also this big purpose of like facing the dark, facing the shadow, and talking to. It's in this position in your chart where you're meant to speak about it. So, speaking to sometimes the unimaginable, speaking to like real life human experience, like raw human experience, and not candy coating it, not sugar coating it, but really getting to the core and the depth of something and speaking to those fears and maybe those wounds and maybe like the shadow work of it all. Does this resonate with you that that's a big part of your
Yeah.
purpose here?
100%.
Yeah,
Like you're describing me perfectly. I
yeah,
can't do the like surface level like talk.
right.
Like I have a really hard time going to parties if it's a bunch of people because I'm like, I don't want to talk about like how your
Yeah,
day was or what the weather
yeah,
is. I want to
yeah,
like get into the nitty-gritty stuff of your soul.
yes. Like, tell me what you've been through, and then we can be
Yeah.
friends,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a really deep placement. Like your soul made a big fat promise to touch the parts of this human experience that maybe we don't talk about at the dinner table. We don't talk about at those, parties that we go to. And really speak to it, like bring it up to the surface, because within that, there's healing that occurs, there's transformation that occurs. And you said, I will do that. I will look fear in the eye. I will face the boogeyman. I will go where no one has gone before, and I will bring it up and I will speak to it in the name of healing and in the name of transformation. And
Yeah.
bringing light to the shadow as well as part of this work.
Oh, I
I
love
know.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that feels
Favorite
very
part.
like that resonates a lot with what
Hmm.
I've chosen to do for like my own path.
Tell us
Um,
what you do.
and I what sorry.
Tell us what you do.
So I am an intuitive medium and I
Yeah.
do soul code readings.
Hmm.
So I'm really curious about not necessarily like your future and predicting
Hmm.
that. It's more about understanding your soul and seeing yourself through the lens of your soul and why you
Yeah.
even came here in the first place.
Yep.
But it has taken me, like I would say it took me 40 years. You brought up 37, which was
Hmm.
interesting
Hmm.
because I would say like my big like spiritual awakening happened at
Hmm.
40. So does Saturn like
Okay.
last like the for a few years?
Saturn can last 1 to 2 years, but at 40, it could have also been another transit that you were going through
Oh,
that
interesting.
really woke you up,
Mhm.
and really brought about the soul and the
Mhm.
soul's work and bringing it into the forefront more. You
Okay.
know, I'm
Yeah.
curious, what were you doing before you stepped into being an
Yeah.
intuitive medium and like soul reader?
Mhm. All the things that I probably thought that I should be doing. I went
Yeah.
to school for school counseling. I
Uh-huh.
taught preschool. I worked in research for a little bit, and then
Hmm.
I just became a stay-at-home mom.
Hmm.
And I pushed down my abilities for a long time because to me it
Yeah.
felt like not like what you were saying, like it's not table talk. Like people,
Yeah.
especially I live in the Midwest.
Hmm.
I think it would have been maybe different if I was like in California or Oregon or someplace where it's
Totally.
a little bit more like
Yeah.
voodoo is more accepted.
Yeah.
So I shoved it down. Like I shoved the
Mhm.
fact that I could speak to spirits and like see your dead grandmother
But it was always there, even while
was
you were
always
sort
there.
of pretending to be these
So
other people.
yeah,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
would come out like with drinking because I think
Hmm.
I felt like more just like your all your defense mechanisms go down when you drink,
Sure.
and so like
Yeah.
I'd be the girl at the bar being like, "Let me read your palm," and there'd be like a line of people
Yes.
there. But 40s when I stopped drinking, so I really
Hmm.
kind of had to like stare at myself in the mirror.
Yeah.
That's when I just felt so called to really step into my purpose. And I was like, I'm not
Hmm.
going to hide anymore. I'm not going to
Hmm.
pretend this isn't a part of me.
Yeah. So cool. And with what you do and also with what I do, like astrology readings, I always feel like we can either clear a room or we
Mhm.
everybody comes to us, you know?
That's true. Yeah,
Like it
for
depends
sure.
the crowd you're hanging out with.
Mhm. Yeah.
We can clear a room like that, you know, people sort of look at us funny.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so let's go a little bit deeper into your chart. So that was Saturn, your life purpose. And now I'm going to look at what's called your big three, which is your sun sign, your moon sign, and also your rising sign. And those are like the three main pillars, if you will, that make up a person. Okay. So your sun sign is Aries, you're a
Mhm.
fiery Aries, and your moon sign is Scorpio. And then
Mhm.
your rising sign is a Leo. So let's talk about those. And I think you know your big three, right?
I
You do
do.
those
Yeah.
three placements? Okay,
Yeah.
let's talk about what they mean. So Aries sun, Leo rising, that's double fire. Right off the bat, we have two fire signs. And then
Mhm.
your moon sign is Scorpio and it's water. But the thing with Scorpio, it is water, but it's like water at a boil. So it's
Mm.
also very heated and hot, like the other two fire signs, you know. So
Yeah.
so your chart creates some intensity here, right?
Mhm.
So this Aries sun, in fact, you have a lot of Aries. Not only is your sun in Aries, which is your personality and your character, your mind is in Aries. You have Mercury in
Mhm.
Aries, and your physical energy also comes through the lens of Aries, which is Mars.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so you have a bunch of Aries in here. And you know, in my opinion, Aries is the most fiery sign we have.
Mhm.
They're really like go-getters. You could be somebody who high road feels super motivated, really inspired. Like, let's get up and do this thing. I wanted to start yesterday, you know. You could be like the biggest cheerleader for yourself and also for others, especially for others. You're an initiator, a pioneer, a starter, you know, and there's this bravery and this courage that comes with Aries, especially a lot of Aries, that you can find. Aries tends to be very extroverted, loud. We know when you're in the room, we know when you're present, but not really you.
Mhm.
Because, I mean, you might have that around certain people, right? And
Mhm.
around certain people that might come out this like really big, loud, fiery, loudest voice in the room part of you. However, you have so much darn Scorpio in your chart that it totally quiets the big,
Mhm.
loud Aries.
Yeah.
The shadow side of Aries is we can be obnoxious, we can be
Mhm.
like too much for some
Yeah.
people, we can be bossy, we have to be the boss our way or the highway, you know, those
Mhm.
things can come in. Do you feel those shadow sides ever come up, or are you leaning more into the high road of Aries? Tell me about that.
Oh, that's interesting.
Mhm,
I'd say like a mix of both. I'm definitely not the loudest in the room
mhm.
unless like I'm with just like my core like
Yeah,
friends.
yeah.
But I mean, I feel like if you were to ask my husband, like he would for sure be like, "Oh yeah, you're like super bossy."
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah. And I'm an only child, so I feel like I definitely, yeah, I can lean into the bossy energy.
yeah.
So yeah, need to work on that.
Well, it comes with the territory, you know, and like you can move mountains with that bossy energy, right? We
Yeah.
just have to be aware of like how bossy we get, how pushy we can
Mhm.
get with all
That
this area.
Mercury, right? My Merc I
Yes,
need to be like cognizant of my Mercury.
totally, because your Mercury in Aries, like the way you speak and the way you
Mhm.
express, there's not a lot of filter.
Mhm.
There's not a lot of filter with Mercury
Yeah.
and Aries, you know,
Mhm.
which is good, but it can also get you in trouble at times. You know,
Yeah.
again, it
Mhm.
depends on who the crowd that you're hanging out with.
Yeah.
That moon in Scorpio. So now we're moving away from like personality and character and this light you shine out into the world, which is very Aries. Now we're
Mhm.
going inward, right? The moon is your emotions. It's the filter through which you emote, and
Mhm.
it's your gut instincts, and it's your home, it's your private life. So all of this is in this realm of Scorpio, and this is this quieter part of you. This is the deep part of you. So Aries is like this happy, excited little kid. We get so
Mhm.
excited. We get to go play today and we get to do this. And oh my God. And here comes your Scorpio moon. And it's like, oh my God, can everybody just stop talking? Can you push
Yeah.
the blinds closed? Just, I want to be in my own deep, dark, private cave. You
Mhm.
know, that can surface with you as
Mhm.
well. A moon in Scorpio. such an intense, deep feeler. Like you feel everything. You
Mhm.
feel the good, you feel the bad, you feel the uncomfortable, you feel the joy. You feel it with such intensity and such depth. And when I see Aries and Scorpio together in a chart, it does make for an intense personality, and you
Mhm.
can probably feel your own intensity as well.
Yeah.
Tell me about that moon in Scorpio a little bit, the depth of feeling that you have, the intensity of feeling that you carry, and this real desire to, not always stay where it's pretty, where it's like rainbows and puppy dogs and sunshine, but also looking at the shadowy realms of existence.
Yeah. I feel like it's like you're like reading my soul right now. Like I feel
Oh,
very connected to everything you've just said.
yeah.
I'm definitely like an intense person.
Uh-huh.
I definitely have like intense emotions and feelings. Like it's
Mhm.
either like super super happy or like,
Yeah.
I'm definitely in my feels. Not really a whole lot of in between. So I try to
Mhm.
like ground myself to
Mhm.
like level that out a little bit. But
Mhm.
yeah, I definitely that resonates so much with me.
Yeah.
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 And I like you said, like I cannot like I want to learn about myself. I want to learn about
Yeah.
you and like
Mhm.
life and just like why we're here. I'm not
Mhm.
okay just like having the like the boring questions in life.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah.
I wanna know what makes you tick and like what you
Yeah.
love and yeah.
Scorpio, it's interesting. Scorpio will ask you the questions that nobody else dares to ask. So there's
Yeah.
this like emotional fulfillment because it's your moon sign. So there's an emotional fulfillment when you can sort of break through to someone. Like when we're
Mhm.
going like beyond the happy social exterior and getting into the guts and the core and the soul of it all. There's
Mhm.
emotional fulfillment. There's like emotional um, you're, what's the word I'm looking for? Satiated
Mhm. Yeah.
emotionally.
Yeah.
Um, and the rest of your chart, that Aries, the fiery Aries, and even the Leo rising is very boisterous and fun. And there's this light emanating from you. But this other part of you that probably only those closest to you know is
Mhm.
like you need stillness. You need quietness as well. You need to be able to step away from all that energy and recharge in healthy isolation sometimes,
Yeah.
you know? Do you feel that part of you?
Yeah, it's I'm laughing because my husband's also a Leo rising and
Hmm.
he's like very extroverted. He loves
Hmm.
to, he loves a party where it's like I
Hmm.
always say I need to have like a sign around my neck that says like stop talking at 9 p.m. I'm so good at the Irish goodbye. Like I once
Yes.
my social battery
Hmm.
is like done,
Hmm.
I have to go
You're
be in my
done.
cave. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting because like, hello, Leo Rising Club. We could start a
I
club.
know.
Um, but we know how to show up and have a good time and like entertain and be entertained. But at some point, your Scorpio comes in and says, I can go to this dinner party, I can go to this gathering for 2 hours and I have a curfew. And then that
Mhm.
Scorpio comes in and says, okay, see ya, you
Yeah.
know, and wants to go back into the quietness.
Mhm.
So it's a really interesting combination, this very deep interior, very rich inner world
Mhm.
with this very sort of abundant, excitable outer persona. You
Yeah.
know,
Mhm.
you can present as very Leo. So let's go over to the rising sign, which is it's the sign that your soul is rising up into.
Mhm.
And it's also the very first impression you give off to people, your rising sign, before we get to know you. So I like to say, let's say you're at a party and you meet somebody for the first time, your first hit is going to be their rising sign because it's sort of
Mhm.
how they present. And then when they introduce themselves to you, then you'll see their sun sign because it's more of their personality and their character. And then when they invite you over for coffee or tea, then you'll see their moon sign because now you're going into their personal space.
Mhm. Yeah.
So, Leo, your rising sign is sort of how you present. It's the mask you wear to the world, and it's also what your soul is rising up into. So, here we have more fire, which is really compatible and happy to be holding hands with your Aries sun. They're sort of just bouncing around and, causing a little bit of mischief here and there.
Mhm.
But Leo risings, there is such big heart energy. Leo rules the heart.
Oh,
And there's a warmth. I mean, think about like Leo the lion, right? We
mhm.
don't, if we were to see a lion walk by, we wouldn't ignore that lion. We would be like,
Mhm.
oh, right. So there's this sort of energy with Leos when they enter a room. We look up at them and there's this warmth and this generosity. Like if you like somebody, there is huge generosity of the heart. You will
Oh.
fight for them, you will protect them, you will spoil them. Leo is great at giving gifts. You will spoil them. And there's also the roar of Leo, the roar of the lion. When you get pissed off or if you have to
Mhm.
defend somebody and that fire starts to boil, there
Yeah.
is this heated anger that can come through as well. That maybe you have to be conscious of or have to be aware of or have to learn how to hold and,
Mhm.
and sort of work through at times if it comes up too heated.
Yeah.
Um, but Leo is like it's one, in my opinion, it's one of the more fun rising signs, because it is just Leo looks to see where there's joy, where there's heart's joy, where there's pleasure. If I do this, is it fun? If I go here, will I be in joy? If I connect with that person, does my heart sing? It matters to Leo risings, and so they present as very warm and generous, but also very boisterous and excitable and royal and regal because it is the lion, right? Do you resonate with that part of yourself?
I do. It's so interesting.
Hmm.
And this is why I love astrology so much, is because I feel like you're really seeing me as a child, which to me, like that's your true self,
Uh-huh,
like you're
uh-huh.
you're getting a snapshot of like my soul when it was in its purest form before
Yeah.
like, outside opinions and
Mhm.
experiences come in. And
Yeah.
you're describing me, I think at my core.
Yeah.
I've definitely learned how to like simmer the fire. um,
Hmm.
I think you become more like aware of how to be like palpable to people. And,
Yeah.
I definitely can be a lot
Hmm.
sometimes. So like
Hmm.
I definitely like learned how to like quiet the fire a little bit,
Yep.
but maybe I need to be stepping more into it because
Yeah.
you're describing like my core,
Hmm. Hmm.
like my core essence. Like it's
Yeah.
wild. It's wild, Malika.
Isn't that weird though? Because
Yeah.
it's where all the planets were at the moment you took your first breath, and that sort of gets cemented or implanted in this lifetime through. And when you take your first breath, you're just this innocent baby, and you become, you grow into this child, and so I'm describing like the potential that you came in with. And then as we get conditioned and as we're
Mhm.
told we're too much and as we're told we need to simmer down and as that fire, oftentimes really fiery people, the flame gets lower and lower and lower because there's this conditioning or our parents told us, stop fidgeting or stop asking so many questions. And
Yeah.
you know, but for
Mhm.
you to tap into your fire and allow the fire to come through, then you're honoring this potential you came in with, to not dim it down, to not have it be more appetizing for certain people or digestible for certain people, but to be truly yourself. You came in as a powerhouse in Aries. You are fire, right?
Mhm.
And so when you let that shine and when you don't filter it or hold it back, you are doing what you promised to do this
Yeah.
lifetime. So just think about that in moments of like, I want to do this, but it feels like it's too much for that person, this person, and them over there.
Mhm.
Like, think
Yeah.
about that for a moment?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, another thing that really stands out in your chart, you have a bunch of planets in Sagittarius. I tell you this? I think we were DMing back and
Think
forth,
so.
and I was like, oh my gosh.
Are you a Sagittarius?
Yes.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were discussing
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. So you have a bunch of planets in Sagittarius. They're hidden in your chart, and you would never know you had all this Sagittarius until you get a reading until you learn how to read your own chart. But more fire, right? We have three fire signs, Aries, Leo, and Sag, and you have an abundance of all three. So here's just more fire. Sagittarius, though, is the wise one, the seeker of wisdom. There is this sage or this guide, this teacher within people that have a lot of Sagittarius, very philosophical,
Mhm.
asking the bigger questions of life, like what the heck are we here for? What is our soul trying to learn this lifetime? You know, those sorts of things really swirling within your energy. And you know, we have two different kinds of Sages. We have those like professors, the teachers, the ones who are in all these educational systems, because learning and the mind and information is so important. And then we have the class clowns that who are constantly giggling, you know, inappropriately. Like I think of Sag as the ones giggling in church, you know, and we got some dirty jokes in our back pocket. Can you hear me? I can't hear you. No. You can hear me? You can't?
Oh, now I can hear you.
Okay, now you can. Okay.
Yes. Oh, that
Okay,
was weird. Oh,
perfect.
you know what? I
What?
wonder if it connected to my husband just left and I bet he took my car. So
Yep.
sorry.
It's okay. It's totally fine. So, what was the last thing you heard me say about Sagittarius?
That they could be the class clown.
Yeah. So we have the really serious ones being the teachers and the wisdom keepers and the philosophers. And then we have the ones who have like a bunch of dirty jokes in their back pocket, the ones who are like giggling in church, the ones who are like just really joyful and the loudest laugh in the room, you know?
That's
So,
so funny.
so do you find that you have like a big sense of humor?
Yeah, like I would say sense of humor
Yeah.
is like one of my favorite things when it comes to like my best friend. Like we can just laugh and
Mhm.
laugh and laugh. And it's funny that you mentioned like the loudest laugh in the room because I've
Yeah.
always been like aware of my laugh because it is very loud.
Yes. Yes.
So that was funny. But I could also see like the kind of teacher. I mean, I went into teaching initially because I thought I wanted to be a
Yeah.
teacher.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that you brought both of those up. I can see like a
Yes.
duality there between both of them for me.
hmm Yeah. And you know, having this much Sagittarius too, there is a lightness of being within you. You know, there's the ability to not take everything so damn seriously all the time. Like Sag knows how to lighten things up. How like when the shit hits the fan, somebody with a lot of Sagittarius will be like, meh, it's gonna be okay. You know, there is just this optimism, this
Mhm.
positivity, this laughter. Laughter is such big medicine for people with a lot of Sagittarius. So now you know you have this really big energy in Sag. And you have a bunch of planets in the third house as well. And I'll tell you what that means.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
Yeah,
I'm
the
interested.
third house is actually Gemini energy.
Oh, interesting.
So you have three planets there, which is a lot of energy. You came in to talk and to communicate and to
Yes.
express. So when that Scorpio wants to go quiet, which,
Mhm.
you know, Scorpio can tend to do, allow that to happen, the stillness, the quietness, the just tuning into your inner world, but then also know that you were meant to share of the inner world.
Mhm.
So, whether you're writing about it, whether you're doing public speaking about it, whether you have some sort of a platform to share
Mhm.
thoughts, ideas, things you've learned, it's a big part of who you came in to be. Communication, expression, talking, writing. Do you write?
I do enjoy writing. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
funny. The talking, I think
Mhm.
that's my North Node, isn't it? The Gemini, like what I'm supposed to be striving
Yep.
for.
Yep.
But that's always been a little bit difficult for me. Like I
Yes.
get lost in my words, but yeah, like
Yes.
I love to write.
Yeah. You know, the getting lost in the words. So yeah, you have your North Node in Gemini. Now you have all these planets in the house of Gemini, the third house. Um, Part of the challenge of that is focus of the mind. How
Mm,
do I focus? I have all these words and all this stuff I want to say. How do I
mhm.
make it come out coherently? How
Yeah.
do I like have it
Hmm.
land for people? You know, that's
Yeah.
part of the work that comes in. Um, and you know, just being like such a student, you have this ping pong of being the student, then the teacher, then back to the student,
Yeah.
right? And so, like, if you're learning things or taking classes or courses or joining, I don't know, webinars, your mind is so hungry to be fed this lifetime.
Hmm.
And at some point, you're meant, because of all the Sag, to turn around and teach all the wisdom that you're gathering.
Oh wow.
So
Oh, I have
whatever that looks like for
goosebumps.
you. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. That's so crazy.
Hmm.
You're so right. I like if it's something that I really am passionate about, like I
Hmm.
if it's a course, I'll do it all in one day, even though it's supposed to take like 9 weeks.
Yeah, Aries.
I'll do like 12, yeah, I'll be like
Go, go,
12 hours
go.
just like reading the material
Yeah,
until I learn it.
yeah.
Um, and yeah, that's so interesting
Hmm.
because I have goosebumps because yesterday I had somebody ask about like mentorship, if I would mentor them. And I just
Mm.
felt like, I don't know if like that is what I'm meant to do right now, but I feel
Hmm.
like you're my little God wink, like coming through, being like, maybe,
Yeah,
hey, have a little bit more confidence in
yeah,
yourself.
yeah. I'm just looking at your transits right now. To mentor. I mean, you were born for it. You were born to be a mentor, a guru, a sage, a guide, a teacher of sorts. So when it feels exciting and there's a big yes for you,
Hmm.
you're meant for it, right? And so just checking in and being like, well, maybe I do want to start a mentoring program of sorts, you know?
Yeah.
Just think about that
Interesting.
because it's built in you.
Cool.
Yeah. Um, there's a signature here for your Scorpio moon has Saturn right on top of it. I want to speak to that for a moment. So to have Saturn right on top of your moon when you were born, yes, you have depth of feeling and big emotions, rich emotions, but Saturn on top of your moon can sometimes make it hard to share those.
Mm.
Saturn can, it's almost like a pulling back of the reins or a second guessing yourself
Mm.
or feeling like I haven't studied this certain thing for 10 years, so I'm not ready yet. You know, when you're
Hmm.
absolutely ready.
Yeah.
Saturn can bring in a little bit of self-doubt
Mm.
sometimes or a little bit of shyness, a holding back, right?
Hmm.
And so I'm curious with like your emotions and the wisdoms you carry. Do you feel Saturn sometimes coming along and putting a lid on top of yourself? Or maybe you felt that in the past.
Hmm.
Um, but I just want you to be aware of that and recognize when you are holding back, when you are playing small, when you
Hmm.
are being shy, because that Leo rising and your Aries wants to shine so bright. But here's that darn Saturn that says, you're not ready. You don't know enough to talk about this. Nobody's going to understand you, like these
Hmm.
self-doubts that can come in. Do you hear that negative
Oh
self-talk
my
coming in at times?
gosh. Oh yeah, all the
Hmm.
time. Like the
Hmm.
imposter syndrome. That's
Totally.
always something that I'm working through.
Hmm.
Like self-worth and
Hmm.
deservingness, like that is something that I have to work through all the time as
Hmm.
well. Yeah, no, that speaks loudly to me.
Hmm. Yeah.
Definitely working on it actively.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Sometimes it can also speak to mother or relationship with mother. Maybe mother was withholding, emotionally withholding, or there was a coldness or a seriousness with relationship with mom, where then you sort of picked up on that and said, okay, I can't just express freely and openly. I have to hold back. I have to, be appropriate because that's sort of how mother came across. Is that true for you at all with
That's
relationship to mom?
interesting. I don't know because she's very warm, but she's an
Good.
Aquarius. And Aquarius, I feel like
Ah,
are a little bit
mhm.
like aloof sometimes or
Yes,
into
they
like
can be.
intellectualize
Yeah,
things. And I
totally.
definitely feel that way like when I was a teenager and emotional as like all
Hmm.
girls are.
Hmm.
I definitely like had to hold myself back or like I didn't
Yeah,
feel like I could necessarily cry in front of her.
yeah,
Like you had to like button up and be strong kind of.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So like I could definitely see it that like in that
Hmm.
respect for sure.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I like that you used the word like buttoning up.
Hmm.
For your Scorpio moon, it would be such beautiful medicine to learn how to unbutton.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
so just keep that in mind. That
Hmm.
that Scorpio moon feels everything.
Yeah.
I would love to look at what's going on currently for you. So looking at transits, where the planets are currently in the sky and how they're affecting you. The first thing, I don't know if you've heard, but this beautiful planet Jupiter has moved into Leo
Hmm.
and is basically blessing all of our Leo placements right now, right? And
All right.
we love Jupiter because Jupiter brings, he's like the Santa Claus of the zodiac. He brings gifts, he brings abundance, open doorways, opportunities. And because you're a Leo rising, he's going to visit your rising sign. He's going to cross over it. And I have the dates here for you.
Ooh.
So, starting in October of this year, all the way until next summer, July. So October 2026 till July 2027, big, big things. Abundance, opportunities, maybe open doorways that you didn't think existed before. It's this feeling of like being in the right place at the right time.
Oh,
It's this
nice.
feeling of like finding $100 bill on the ground, randomly. I want you starting in October to really just open up to this world of abundance. Really open your heart because Jupiter is getting ready to bless you big time. It can also like being more seen, um, but you're seen in a Jupiterian light, which is a good light. Jupiter is happy-go-lucky. He's positive. He's optimistic. He has a big smile on his face. So being more seen, yes, but also being seen in a really beautiful, happy glow, right?
Oh,
People like you. People are magnetized to you from October through July. So using this, and also, if I could give you a little homework,
yeah.
um, how to work with this, right? How to work with him and not just let him pass you by without really using his blessings. Like writing a letter to Jupiter. I know that might sound silly, but I do this
No,
all the
I'm
time.
here
And I
for
tell
it.
my, yeah, and I
You're
tell my
speaking to
clients,
that Scorpio moon.
yes, exactly. Um, Literally, dear Jupiter, and then write out what you want to call in for yourself because he's waiting in the wings to gift you, but he has to know exactly what you want. And with Jupiter, the bigger the ask, the happier he gets. The more extravagant, the happier he gets, right? So not
Yeah.
holding back. So big things coming in, happy, abundant things coming in starting October through July, but it's going to be extra strong November, December into January. So just know that.
All right,
Okay.
I'm here for it. I
Yes.
welcome that energy.
Yes. Yes. Okay, let's see what else is standing out here. So Saturn is also visiting you.
Oh,
So
there comes Saturn with its little cap to come.
totally, totally. And it's interesting. Let me turn my phone off. It's interesting because Jupiter is such a yes planet. He's like, you get a car and you get a car and you get a car, right?
Oprah.
Totally. And then Saturn comes in and is like, no. So, with Saturn, we have to work a little bit
Mhm.
harder and we have to take things a little bit more seriously. So, yes, you are being blessed by Jupiter, but Saturn is also visiting you. Let me tell you what he's doing. Saturn is hopping onto your sun, right? Saturn just moved into Aries this year. So he's hopping onto your Aries sun. He's also hopping onto your Mercury, your mind. Let me give you the dates for this. It's about a year, April of this year. So it's already started, April of this year through April of next year. We have some Saturnian energy. So the high road of having Saturn on your sun and on your mind, on Mercury, we're totally laser focused. We have discipline. We're getting to work. We're dotting our
Mhm.
I's. We're crossing our T's. We're writing out our lists. We are working on our goals. It's this slow and steady building of something that is very foundational and very long lasting since April. We have this amazing work ethic on our side now because Saturn says, work hard. We're climbing mountains. We
Mhm.
see the mountain and we're like, what's on the top of that? And we just start trekking up that mountain. Slow and steady is the theme for this sort of trek.
Mhm.
And, we could be a little bit more serious this year too with Saturn. It really is like, what am I building towards? What are the goals I want to achieve, right? The hard parts of having Saturn on your sun and on your mind, it could feel like it's moving really slowly. It could feel
Mhm.
like, that walk uphill is really exhausting. It could feel
Yeah.
like if we push too hard, it's like two steps forward, three steps back. So slow
Mhm.
and steady is really key this year, making sure to read the small prints,
Mhm.
making sure to take care of the details. Um, when he hops onto your mind, which he's already there, yeah, yeah, April, it could feel like we have to watch for pessimism or looking at life like the glass is half empty.
Okay.
because he just brings a real like he can be a little bit pessimistic, you know. He can be a little bit like we really have to look at the reality of things, and he comes along with like a really bright fluorescent light where we see all the
Yeah.
blemishes and all the things, you know.
Hmm.
But he's showing us the reality of situations so that we can work with the reality of what is and really have a concrete foundation to stand upon. So sometimes this year it might feel like I'm working too much.
Hmm.
I'm not making time for days off. I'm not making time for play because Saturn is like driving me to, show up and do all
Yeah.
these things and get my life in order. So just remember while you're working and while you're building this year, that slow and steady is key. And you want to remember to take days off too. And
Yeah.
you want to make time for play too. Have you felt any of this energy coming in since the spring?
1000%.
Yeah.
It's interesting listening to your take on it and how
Hmm.
you are like interpreting it for me.
Yeah.
To me, it's like Saturn's coming in to keep me in alignment so that I don't just
Yes.
like go off and like enjoy this beautiful like gift that Jupiter is gifting us.
Hmm.
But definitely like it's so funny. I swear you're like in my mind. Uh, because today when I was driving, I was like, I'm gonna choose a word for like the next 6 months, and my word was presence because I feel like
Mm,
I have been like I just love what I do, and I've just been
yeah.
pouring my like heart, my energy, my soul into my readings and what I do,
Yeah.
and I just feel like okay, like you have to have um like some time to rest as well. Like there's
Hmm.
beauty in the rest too, and there's
Yeah.
healing in the rest. And so I was like, okay, you just have to stay present. And when you find yourself like really focusing on like, okay, what do I have to get done? Like just set almost little goals for myself and then take a step back and like release myself from social media or from
Hmm.
like trying to connect with new clients.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I feel that like wanting to be a workaholic because I enjoy it.
Yep.
That
Hmm.
Saturn energy is for
Hmm.
sure there.
Hmm.
Not necessarily like the pessimism, but I definitely feel like um the whole like nose to the ground, I just want to work
Hmm.
and work and work.
Yeah.
That energy is for sure there.
Yeah. Really, really strong right now through next April. So you can get a whole lot done,
Mhm.
but remember to make time for rest because the sun, he's sitting on your sun. The sun is also your vitality, your life force, the light you shine out, right? And
Yeah.
when Saturn sits on it, he sort of puts a lid on things. And so we can get more exhausted. So we're
Mhm.
working, 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 and then we can hit a wall or we can
Yeah.
reach burnout. So just remember
Mhm.
the moderation of things, I would say,
Yeah.
this
It's
year.
almost like it comes through so that I don't burn out or that someone with
Yep.
like a similar placement doesn't burn out because
Yeah.
with all that fire energy, if you
Yeah.
don't have something that's also going to ground you, like I could
Yep.
see how some people would like just get to the end of what is it July when you said that Leo's out? So like when you get to
Yes.
the end of it, like maybe
Yeah.
then long term you're not able to keep
Mhm.
that fire going because you've like burned through the
That's
energy
right.
for the past
Yes.
like
That's right.
however many months.
Yeah.
So it's
And
interesting.
Saturn wants to make sure that what you're creating right now has longevity to it,
Hmm.
right? And a
Yeah.
strong foundation so that it doesn't just burn out and dissipate once these transits are done.
Yeah, actually
Yeah.
welcome that in. Like that's
Good.
I feel like that's good energy. But I'm
It
gonna keep
is.
my eyes open about like the
Yeah.
whole glass because I want to stay
Totally.
positive.
Totally. Yes. Okay, one more thing here. Oh, maybe two more things. You also have the planet Pluto. This has been going on for a while. Pluto squaring your moon. I'll tell you what all that gibberish means. Pluto has come in to square your moon way back in the spring of 2024. So you've been going through this for a while now, about 2 years, and he's sticking around until the very end of 2028, December 2028. So it is like a almost a 4 year transit. And when Pluto squares the moon, there's a lot of like inner work we have to do. So think back to around the spring of 2024. Um, Things surfacing that maybe you thought were buried or you tried to bury or keep hidden, things just coming up to the surface that we have to deal with and heal.
Hmm.
Because it's the moon, it could be things of the past, it could be who you truly are at the core, it could be childhood things, nostalgic things, relationship with mother could come up here to be healed, relationship with women. Um, but you're doing your shadow work since 2024. And
Mhm.
within that, you're completely rebirthing who you are on such a personal level that come the end of 2028, so in just about 2 years, 2.5 years, um, you've rebirthed and you've reborn, and you are the phoenix rising out of the ashes. But you have to take note that there are ashes. So
Mhm.
something, an old part of you has sort of deconstructed in order for you to reconstruct. And
Yeah.
it's really important work and it's really personal work. Have you
Mhm.
felt that at all coming in since right around the spring of 2024?
Yeah, definitely.
Mhm.
Well, I think that kind of aligns with the whole awakening, and like I
Yeah.
quit drinking, and I always say like I came home to myself.
Uh-huh.
And that's also when I really decided. It's interesting because in 2023 I did my
Mhm.
Reiki master's training, and I was like, I'm going to be
Oh.
a Reiki practitioner. This is what I want to
Hmm.
do. But
Hmm.
what I was finding is that people were coming not for the Reiki, but for the
Hmm.
readings afterwards. But it took me a whole year. So not until when basically what
Yeah.
you're bringing up, for me to actually accept that and to open up
Hmm.
to like, okay, like I do want to share what I can
Hmm.
do and the messages that come through for people.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're like so spot on. It's
I
crazy.
love this. I love this. Okay, one more thing. I want to talk about your progressed moon, which is simply an energy that lasts for 2.5 years. So, like every 2.5 years, our outlook on life, the energy we're in shifts. Yours is about to shift, is why I want to bring it in 4 months, and you can probably already start to feel the flutterings coming in. You are moving into a 2.5 year Gemini phase cycle. Okay. So you're going to feel like a Gemini for 2.5 years. Life tends to pick up the pace. Where are we? We are in July, August, September, October, November. So right around November, it'll be exact. 2.5 years. Life is going to pick up the pace. People everywhere. You want to connect with people. You want to be part of the groups. Um, Social life tends to pick up. We have this ability to really have our voice heard and speak and express. And we're sort of like up on this platform a bit. It has to do with your work because it's activating your 10th house. It's almost like people are looking up to you for what you're going to say next, what you have to share. It's an exciting time, but also we can feel like we're too busy, we're doing too much. We can feel scattered. We can be like, oh my God, where's my phone? Where are my keys? That sort of
Yeah.
energy can come into. But it definitely picks up the pace, and you want to surround yourself with people and network, um, communicate, compromise, all those things that we do when we move into our social life or just relationship with other people.
Okay.
Coming in strong in just about 4 months and
Oh,
lasting for 2.5 years. This Gemini energy. You can feel more energetic through it too.
all right.
Um, I look at Gemini as like this Peter Pan childlike energy.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun, it's curious, it wants to play. Um, but again, and this is sort of like a theme, make sure you make time for rest.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a couple things in your chart now that says everything exciting is happening, but make sure you make time for rest,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Oh, it's such good medicine.
Yes, yes. So, Christiana, do you have any questions for me before we come to an end here today?
I don't think so. This was so interesting, and I loved learning kind of like what's coming up, what's coming
Hmm.
next.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I guess, do you have any, like, what would be your one big piece of advice for me to be
Hmm.
able to really like invite this energy in?
Yeah. Take the filters off. No more hiding. You came in to
Okay.
be a double fire sign.
Mhm.
Even your watery moon is at boiling water,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah.
So let that fire out to be expressed. Allow yourself to be the loudest laugh in the room. People Fire is contagious, so people will feel ignited by you, inspired by you. The more you really let that fire out and not feel like you have to tone it down or keep the flame contained, it's a
Mhm.
very inspiring, motivating energy that you came in with. So allowing that to shine.
Oh, well, thank you so much. This
You're
is
so
incredible.
welcome.
I've loved it.
Yay. Okay, thank you for being here. Let me stop the recording and then we can just say goodbye, just me and you. Okay, let me see here. Stop recording.